Okay, California's historic tropical storm is now moving out of the area. There is still the cleanup in areas that saw flooding, and there are concerns for the homeless.
And before the storm hit, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department flew over low-lying areas, warning homeless residents to move to higher ground for safety. Take a listen. Yeah, telling them you're in extreme danger. Let's bring in Dr. Margot Kushel, director of the Benioff Homelessness and Housing Initiative at the University of California, San Francisco. She joins us live. Doctor, thanks for being here this morning. What went into trying to get all of these homeless people living on California streets to a safe location as this storm approached?
Yeah, I mean, we have about 3/4 of the people experiencing homelessness in California are outdoors, in cars, in tents, and they're really at extreme risk during these extreme weather events. For this, we're worried about flooding, people drowning, people being washed away, electrical lines or trees coming down. So I think they really try to warn people and get them indoors, or at least get them to higher ground. That's not an easy thing for people to do when they're there with all of their belongings in a tent and no really great way to get places.
You know what? My mother works with homeless people in the Sacramento area. Clearly, across the state, it's become a much larger issue, and people are living under overpasses and bridges in suburbs and cities. Is there enough shelter to house those who've been living on the streets or in tents right now if they were to temporarily just go to some of the housing that's actually been provided for them over the past few years?
There is still not enough shelter and certainly not enough housing. Our shelters are pretty much full every night. In events like this, communities open up other spaces, gyms or anything else, just in an attempt to get people indoors to weather the storm, as it were. But it's really hard to turn on a dime, and it's really hard for the people experiencing homelessness. Their entire lives are with them, all of their belongings. Many of them are older, have trouble walking, and so it's hard to move quickly. So it's really, another cost of this massive ongoing calamity in our state.
And you obviously have been following the radars as this storm was approaching and as it's happening. But what do you do in the thick of it to check on these, homeless people and the homeless population? How do you make sure that everybody's okay? What does that effort look like?
I mean, I think they have lots of boots on the ground as part of emergency management of trying to get people out a day or two in advance. Unlike an earthquake, we at least had a few days warning about this, trying to provide transportation to move people to safer areas or to move them indoors. But, in a state where we have over 170,000 people homeless every night, 2/3 to 3/4 of them who are outside, this is no easy task. And we really have these colliding crises of our severe homelessness crisis and our severe climate crisis.
So what will communities face after the storm? I mean, the rain's expected to stop in SoCal today, and then you've got big issues. I mean, will it be related to illnesses like pneumonia among the homeless population, or will it be the homeless being moved to different neighborhoods just to get out from where they've been staying, and now they're in a different community and neighbors there aren't feeling very safe about it? Talk about all of that.
Yeah, well, I'm really worried about the people who've been outside getting soaked. If they survive the immediate crisis, then I worry about at nights, particularly in the desert area where the temperatures drop, people getting really cold, and we worry about hypothermia. We worry about people's skin and wounds getting worse. Of course, because people don't have necessarily dry clothes to change into, everything they have is soaked. Those concerns last for a while. People have really lost, once again, everything. When we surveyed Californians, 50% said one of their barriers to facing housing was that they didn't have documents, an ID, proof of who they were. Those things get ruined in events like this, and so it's sort of like back to square zero. I think that this community is getting moved a lot from one place to the other place, which doesn't actually really solve anything. Communities may be concerned about them, but the real people at risk here are those who are outside, those who are experiencing homelessness.
Well, Dr. Margot Kushel, thank you for joining us. And again, people's hands are going to be full long after this storm goes away, moves further inland and dissipates. There's going to be a lot of social workers busy hitting the streets and in their offices, like my mom Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.